So, David Cosgrove, so nice to see you. After I think I actually haven't seen you for a year or so. I might have waved at you near Sokkelund or something, but otherwise I haven't seen you. So good to see you. After 7 years, you stopped a year ago as, let's get the title right, Head of Physical Performance in FC Copenhagen. How was that stop for you?
Well, I suppose when you stop after 7 years in a football club, it's quite difficult. But you know, everything was handled really professionally by everybody. You know, the club were fantastic. They made sure I was looked after for a year. I was studying at the same time, studying to be a sports director in Manchester, which the club was supporting me with. So the last year has been a really busy year. It just hasn't been a busy year in parking or inside number 10 for me. But I only live around the corner from number 10, so I walk past it all the time and I can see everybody's working really hard.
But I talked to somebody about today that working in a football club, it's not like a regular job. You have other kind of feelings mixed in, I guess. And you just told me that you haven't actually been back to the club for a year?
Yeah, I haven't actually been back. I didn't look for an invite and I wasn't invited and I wasn't really part of it. But you know, football is very cyclical. When you finish up in a football club, you know, other people step in, and the people who stepped in were people who I had helped develop, like Abdel. Ben stepped up, but then you have guys like Lasse, who old player, who now is like lead physio, Simon. So all the guys that I'd worked with, they were able to, you know, continue without me, and that sustainability is also, you know, it's really, really important. That's the great thing about FCK, because there's so many young people coming through. Like, so when Abdel came up into the first team, Kevin took his position, and that gave him a chance to lead. So, you know, there's this great history of leadership coming up throughout the business. So just like a forest fire, you know, when a forest is on fire, something has to grow from it. So when I left, that cyclical part of it, well, you know, that's just how it happens in football. It's amazing that I was there for 7 years. I only came for 1 year and I lasted 7. So I'd like to thank the club for, you know, always keeping me here. So I really enjoyed my time.
And we are actually in the bagel shop right next to the training ground, and there's a training match right now. If we have the time when we're done here, I'll drag you by just to wait for the players. They won't see you, but you are actually leaving. That's it. You're leaving Copenhagen now. What's happening?
Yeah, so I'm about to leave Copenhagen. I should be gone by the weekend. I'm moving to Orlando City Football Club in the MLS. So myself and my family will be living in Florida for the next 2 years. I'm going to be a senior director of the club, where I'll be in charge of all of the performance levels within the whole football club, sports medicine, all the fitness, nutrition, research, data, assist with the head of analytics to build out, you know, a really competitive club. And they chose me because of our success at FC Copenhagen. Just like Johan Lange and Frederick Leth and Brian Rimmer, they went on to better things. FC Copenhagen is really interesting to the global market, MLS in particular. Morten Gran has gone to New York City, to FC, the Man City Group, to be the academy director. So, you know, the recruiters are really, really interested in FC Copenhagen. So, no, I'm going to a warmer climate in Orlando, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's amazing. I've been looking a bit at the league and also at the New York City FC that you described a few years ago, and that's actually interesting. I think Ståle Solbakken, he tried to get Jesus Medina, and he went there. So there's no doubt that there's a competition for the players and also for the staff from the MLS.
Totally. The MLS is growing so big. It's so competitive. There's a salary cap. So like say $4.8 million. So they're investing in staff and they're investing in all the directors and leaders to get the most they can from you know, their roster, it's called. But they're also competing on transfer fees now. So New York would be able to pay probably double what FCK are paying in salary, but the transfer fees, at the moment, they could pay up to $10 million for a transfer fee. Now FCK will never be able to compete with these guys on transfers. So the balance of power is shifting a little bit, and FCK will be looking to buy players early now, because the Americans are willing to buy even earlier and pay big transfer fees to Croatia or to South America. So it's really competitive now to try and find talent. But thankfully, FCK have got a great recruitment team. And in Mikkel Koller, who is doing the recruitment for the underage groups, they have an amazing guy who seems to have found a lot of Icelandic talent.
Yeah, exactly.
So like it's really, really good for FCK. So that they have a great strategy at the moment.
You're going to Orlando City. I had to look it up actually. I weren't sure where that, but that's Florida. I mean, it's amazing for you.
Yeah.
And the club even has a lion in the logo.
Yes.
What can you tell about the club?
So the club is a young club. It's one of the newer franchises from back in 2000, I think 14. So it's going through some building. It's building out. It's expanding itself. But over the last 2 years, it's been a playoff team, which is very important. Once you get into your conference playoffs, then anybody can win. So the top team doesn't always win. So they've invested heavily in the leadership. They've got a couple of great leaders in Luis Musi and Ricardo Moriera. And they have new owners. So they have owners from Minnesota Vikings. So they've come in and their mandate is to be competitive. And what that means really is they want to win trophies. So they're very motivated to try and win the MLS in the next few years. If you don't win the MLS, win the conference, which is called the Supporter Shield, and maybe win a cup. So they want experts to come in and help them do that, build out homegrown players. So can the academy produce players into the first team? So that's my remit. That's why they chose me. So I'm swapping the lines of Copenhagen for the lines of Orlando, and maybe the weather might be a bit better.
I think you're absolutely right. We could be by the pitch, as I said, but it's freezing, so we're inside. But actually, you've got long trousers on. But that's one of the things we knew about you, that you tend to wear short trousers all year.
Yeah,
but your long trousers now.
Yeah, the shorts thing is that's an English thing from coming from the bad weather in England, where it's always raining and cold, and if you had your shorts on, you were a bit of a macho man, a Viking. But I just always wore them in Copenhagen just for that reason.
Now you can wear them again in Florida.
I can wear them again all the time.
Now that you're leaving Copenhagen, what do you look back on in both Copenhagen, but also not least in FC Copenhagen?
There was so many teams, there were so many eras, there were things that stand out. Let's say, the Champions League 16-17, I think maybe 9 points. Thomas Delaney's goal against Bruges, the big games against Porto and Leicester, where we managed to stay competitive. I remember at half-time Leicester walking off in Parken, and they were just in shock that we were so competitive. Yusuf Tutu playing some games, left wing, destroying international fullbacks, things like that. Jesse Gironen against Atalanta, all those amazing saves when we were away, the amazing things. But then guys like Brander and guys like Tom Hugli, Bjorn Sigurdsson, Steve De Reeder, Kevin Foley, all those guys as well. There was such an amazing team spirit. And then, with pride, you watch all the guys who leave. Robert Scove go on to do amazing things. Dennis Favreau not doing amazing things, but getting a chance at Lazio. And then you're very proud about Mo and what happens to Jonas Vind in the future. So all those different things, they mean a lot to me. I saw so many amazing things happen, and you learn a lot in the tough times as well. So when things are going wrong and you have to get together as a group. There's a very, very strong culture within FCK that people try and figure out things when problems happen. So, the club is full of great people who have been through some tough times, and you're stronger. Just like a forest fire, something good grows from it. So, FCK I think is well placed to be very strong in the future.
So, what has FCK meant for you in your career?
It grew me to who I am today, and it supported me at every step. And the fact I'm going into a strategic leadership role, like a senior director role in the MLS, it's fantastic that FCK has produced another leader to bring their vision into another space. And it's nice watching Johan doing so well and Brian doing so well, and it's my chance to go away and let people know about the good work that we did at FCK. And maybe the next person comes behind me and they can say the same thing. So I feel like a trailblazer for who we are, and to bring that message further. So yeah, that's what it means to me.
Great. So nice talking to you, David, and have a wonderful time in the States. We'll be following Orlando now for sure. Yeah. We'll miss you here in Copenhagen, no doubt about it, but stay safe.
Yeah, thanks mate. Cheers.